Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. All right, folks, listen up, because we've got some pretty shocking news coming out of the Women's National Basketball Association. And honestly, it could change a lot about how people look at the league going forward. But before we get into it, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate all the support you guys have been showing lately. If you enjoy the content, do me a quick favor. Tap, click, smash, stomp, whatever your favorite method is, just make sure you hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you might think. Now, if you remember, a lot of the conversation around the league last year wasn't just about basketball. It was about money. It was about players talking about being paid what they believe they deserve. During the All-Star break, we heard a lot of that messaging. The whole "pay us what you owe us" and "pay us what you deserve" campaign was everywhere. The idea being pushed was that women's basketball was exploding in popularity because of the players themselves. Ratings were up, interest was up, and the message was pretty clear. The league's success was because of them. But here's where things get interesting. There are a lot of people, fans, analysts, even some within the sports media, who look at the last couple of years and see something very different. They see one massive factor that changed everything. And that factor is Caitlin Clark. When Clark entered the league, the attention around the WNBA changed almost overnight. Suddenly, arenas were selling out. Games were being moved to bigger venues. Television numbers jumped. Social media engagement exploded. And whether people want to admit it or not, a huge portion of the league's new attention has been tied directly to her presence. That doesn't mean other teams and players haven't benefited from the spotlight. They absolutely have. There's clearly a Caitlin Clark effect, where other teams see bigger crowds and more viewers when they play against her. But the real question is, what happens outside of those moments? If you take Clark out of the equation, how much of that momentum actually stays? Some people believe a significant chunk of the growth, maybe even 80 or 90%, came from the buzz surrounding Clark. And if that's even partially true, it creates an interesting situation for the league moving forward, especially when you start looking at media deals and long-term contracts. Right now, the WNBA is part of a much bigger media rights agreement. These deals are often based on projections: how many viewers will watch, how much advertising revenue networks can generate, and how valuable the broadcast rights will be over time. But those deals can sometimes include renegotiation clauses or opt-out options. We've seen this happen in other leagues. For example, the National Football League has renegotiated television arrangements with networks like CBS, which is owned by Paramount Global. If ratings outperform expectations, leagues often push for more money. On the flip side, if viewership falls short, networks can sometimes look for ways to adjust the agreement. Something similar has also happened with Major League Soccer and its streaming partnership with Apple TV+, where certain conditions allow for reevaluation of the deal depending on performance. That's why ratings matter so much. Advertising, sponsorships, and broadcast rights are all tied to how many people are watching. If a network expects 100 million viewers for something like the Super Bowl and only half that number shows up, advertisers are going to want compensation. The same basic principle applies across sports media deals. So, moving forward, the big question is simple. Can the WNBA maintain the surge in attention it has seen recently, or was much of that momentum tied to one superstar moment in time? Either way, the last couple of seasons have made one thing very clear. Whether you love the debate or hate it, the impact of Caitlin Clark on the league has been impossible to ignore. And as the league moves into the next era, that reality will continue to shape the conversation around the future of women's basketball. The Indiana Fever versus Toronto Tempo WNBA game for mid-August at Scotiabank Arena is nearly sold out. The cheapest Upper Bowl face value ticket is $150. Most Upper Bowl tickets and most Lower Bowl tickets were $400 to $700.
About 18,000 tickets sold in just a few hours. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. There is really no other comparison in North American sports, and that is true 100%. Now, I know there's excitement for the tempo, of course there is, but they don't even have players yet. Clark is basically box office triple platinum. We've got tickets in section 317, row 11, and section 317, row 13, going for $1,455. That's for seats way up in the building. Now, I'll give you another comparison that's really important to check out as well. We have the Las Vegas Aces at the Portland Fire on Thursday, July 9th, and then we have the Indiana Fever at the Portland Fire on May 30th, right? Okay. For the Aces Fire game, now I know that game is a little later, but just look at what we've got right now. Upper level, section 321, $33. Upper section 332, $33. Upper section 303, $52. That's for the Aces at the Portland Fire. Now look at the Fever at the Portland Fire. Upper section 303, $214. Upper section 115, $214. Upper section 117, $214. Do you understand what we're saying here? Do you understand the difference in pricing? By the way, the last ticket in upper section 317 for the Caitlin Clark Fever game is $214. Now, let's do a quick reminder when it comes to in-person attendance. In 2023, the Aces led the league with 191,000 fans. The Phoenix Mercury had 183,000, the Seattle Storm had 178,000, the Minnesota Lynx had 155,000, and the New York Liberty also had 155,000. Then you had the Indiana Fever all the way down near the bottom with 81,000. Now keep those numbers in mind. The top 5 teams in 2023 were between 155,000 and 191,000. Now, let's go to 2024. The top team? The Indiana Fever, with 340,000. Then the New York Liberty with 254,000, the Aces with 225,000, the Storm with 223,000, the Los Angeles Sparks with 220,000, and the Mercury with 214,000. That means 6 teams had higher attendance than the top team from the previous year. You actually have to go all the way down to the bottom 3 teams in 2024 to find teams with attendance lower than the top 6 teams from 2023. And that is 100% the Caitlin Clark effect. You had teams again, the Washington Mystics, the Atlanta Dream, the Dallas Wings, and even the Chicago Sky moving games into larger arenas in order to play against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Because when Caitlin Clark comes to town, everything changes. Just a quick reminder of something we've been talking about for a while now, because the moment the new CBA conversation started heating up and the league's momentum picked up, you could immediately see the Caitlin Clark effect in action again. The second tickets became available for upcoming games, they started disappearing. Fans saw the opportunity and thought, hey, we might actually get a chance to see Caitlin Clark play live. And they rushed to grab seats. And when you look at the ticket prices, the difference is absolutely unbelievable. Take a simple comparison. When the Indiana Fever come to town with Caitlin Clark, upper-level tickets in some arenas are going for over $200 in sections where other games are sitting around $30 or $40. That's not a small difference. That's a massive gap in demand. Now, look at games involving the Las Vegas Aces and superstar A'ja Wilson. Wilson is an incredible player, a league MVP, and one of the most dominant athletes in the game today. But when you compare the ticket prices for those matchups with the games where Caitlin Clark and the Fever show up, the difference is obvious. In some cases, tickets for the Clark game are 6 or 7 times more expensive in the exact same section of the arena. That kind of pricing gap tells you everything you need to know about demand.
Honestly, the only comparable situation in North American sports right now might be what Lionel Messi did for Major League Soccer when he joined Inter Miami CF. Suddenly, stadiums were packed, ticket prices skyrocketed, and everyone wanted to see him play. That's the level of impact we're talking about. And yet, the debate around Clark and her influence on the Women's National Basketball Association just keeps going. Some people acknowledge it, others push back, and the numbers, attendance, ticket prices, and viewership are hard to ignore. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more.